pure form.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd just do a really short, informal Q&A just to end this evening. The bar's open upstairs as well if you wanted to have stick around and have a little drink. But before we go on to that, we have a couple of questions we'd like to ask you, and we'd also like to give you the opportunity to ask Conrad anything that you'd like. So maybe if we'll start if anybody has any questions for Conrad, and then we'll move on to the questions we have for you. Does anybody have anything?
This is the first piece.
For first solo piece, yeah. Never done anything else before. Yeah, we've done group stuff.
Because it's ostensibly autobiographical. I have to say that because I don't know for a fact.
That is autobiographical.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what would the next piece be?
Interesting. Well, I do have another semi-autobiographical piece based on being half Indian and Indianness. This is more about childhood.
Yeah.
And about these experiences, and also about how you marked by your experiences. But the other piece is kind of autobiographical as well.
Well, that begs the question: could this work as well if it wasn't about you?
Yeah, because I mean it's quite a hard question because it's like because it is about me. Do you know what I mean?
Because form and content, in this sense, it works because it's clearly about you from your personal experience. So, as a form, would it work if you're trying to tell somebody else's story or another story?
Yeah, I think so. Storytelling with music. I mean, people do it all the time, don't they? It's like it just I don't know if they're beatboxing and looping it up. But I think
that's kind of where I'm drifting.
Yeah. I think yeah they could. I don't see why not because it's just songs and stories. What do you think?
I don't know because this is kind of new. I mean, it's newish to me. I mean, the elements of it. It's as you say, it's mixing it up and putting the beatboxing into a sort of semi-musical, very personal autobiographical story. It's quite intense.
Yeah.
We've all heard tales of my past told, but then to mix in music's not that unknown. But beatboxing is still pretty novel in this respect. So we're seeing some kind of hybrid here anyway, and it's just thinking, what are the legs in it? I'm as curious as you might now be.
That's Hamlet, don't forget. There's a lot of Shakespeare in there.
I noticed that, but that's kind of essential to the plot, really.
I mean, I hope so. I've not seen a show like this myself.
Yeah.
So if I don't know if people like it. I mean, this is what I just do anyway. So any theatre work that I make is going to have this aesthetic and this form. Maybe I'll have more beatboxing in it, more rapping, or less. I'm not sure, but it would be like this if I did anything else. Because even group pieces that I've done still tend to have this sort of aesthetic. But now, obviously, when I'm on my own, I can go full pelt.
When you say this is what I do anyway, do you come from a music background or a theatre background, or has it always been a hybrid of the two?
It's always been a hybrid of the two.
Yeah. How did you first get into it?
With performance, my mum took me to Stagecoach. We didn't pay for it, and I went until they kicked us out.
Okay.
All the checks bounced. It's kind of the only positive thing that my mum did to me that she gave me a passion for something. Even though she's not musical, she's not into theatre, she thinks it's all weird posh stuff. I don't know. For some reason, she felt like me and my brother should have some sort of hobby because she never had one. And then since then, I never went back after that, but always kind of like I knew after that I really liked performing. Music, I listened to records for hours and just would put them on and listen to them. To that extent, there was nothing else. We had a one-string guitar, but I just knew I liked music. And I thought I was good. My primary teacher said, one teacher can say you're good at something and you hold on to that, don't you? Even if you're crap, you still think. Well, she said I was good. She told me I had something. Even if she was lying, I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how really. And then just little interactions with individuals as you get older, different teachers, social workers, people that point you into the right direction, or just give you advice. And at Battersea Arts Centre, I've been at Battersea Arts Centre for 16 years.
Oh really?
Yeah.
16?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I did the youth theatre as well. And then since then it's kind of been like a traineeship into everything. I've worked in the bar, I've worked in the office, so it's just become like a lifelong apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And through that I've done other things, worked in other places, but I run the Beatbox Academy there
Okay.
and the youth theatre there. So it's kind of, yeah, it's been great. Things like that, courses like that are great.
So I don't know if you guys know, but Conrad was doing baby beatboxing today with babies.
Yeah.
And the little baby I was with woke up, so we had to take him away. Pretty sharpish. Did anybody else have any questions? No? We have some questions that we'd quite like to ask you, if that's okay. Can I just ask a little nudge about what the question?
The one about impact.
Yeah, so about the impact, about how this show made you feel, really, rather than anything too intellectual, how, if you had any kind of emotional reactions to it, or otherwise.
Being very shy.
Very shy.
Very shy.
I can't claim deep emotional reaction, but it was very interesting. I mean, the combination, it's a novel combination which I haven't experienced before. So I found that, great experience.
Was it not expected to you then? Was it an unexpected experience? What were you anticipating?
Well, I
it would be
like the Shakespeare was thrown in, and I like the narrative.
Yeah.
And beatbox.
Would it encourage you to go and see other?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I like it. And that was one of the great things about the Margate scene, is there's so much novel stuff happening.
Yeah.
Planning scene.
We're
a very, very collaboratively planet project. Trying to get people to like get out of their own little place and go to wherever
Okay, well, I've
something
just
good
looked at the
going
map
on.
where Canterbury is.
Well done, excellent.
Other side of the river wants some.
Yeah.
Far away.
Oh, that's something, isn't
A
it?
more aggressive river name you can't imagine.
Oh, I love that it's called, didn't it? So the Isle of Thanet, which is where we are, it used to be an island until the River Wonsum silted over. So you pass the River Wonsum whenever you come into it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I had a reaction, I don't know if it's emotional or what, but about, I was really aware of my behaviour in being in an audience, and I felt it was really quiet, and then my reactions were sometimes to sort of laugh, or like in the music to kind of like sway or whatever, like a semi-dance or something to it. And I wasn't sure, there's always that thing when you're in an audience where you don't want to like be the loud one or do the thing that no one else is doing, and it made me more aware than I think I ever am. And it's the second time I've seen it, I should like own up to that. And both times I feel it's made me aware of who I am in the group here, in the audience, and in relation to Conrad, and how I want to be as an audience member, vocal or not vocal, or listening, or going along with it, or whatever. Yeah.
What have your audiences been like across the tour? I imagine it's been quite mixed. Like,
Yeah, very different. Some audiences laugh quite a lot.
yeah,
Some are dead silent.
yeah,
And we had an audience where people had both a lot of laughing and a lot of kind of like and crying as well.
yeah.
So it's quite mixed.
What was last night like, the audience?
Last night it was responsive. People were laughing, responding.
Was there a lot of younger people there?
There wasn't a lot of young people. There were some young people. But yeah, it was a little bit vocal last night.
And have there been some that you've done in some places where there's been a much bigger balance of a younger audience?
More young people than.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was. Yeah,
Does that change it much?
more rowdy.
More
Like when you
rowdy.
say stuff, they'll be like, "Oh wow, oh no, man."
Oh, right,
So they'll
yeah.
respond vocally to everything they're saying, like, "Rah."
And is that quite nice for you? Do you quite like that? So. you've got
Oh yeah,
something
yeah, I
to
do
go
like
with?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because it means that people are engaged. It's quite when the audience is silent, you never really know what's going on. I mean, you never really know. And I guess there are things that maybe I could do to let the audience know they could do more. Maybe that's kind of like something that I should do. Think about.
Have you always performed in theatre spaces, or have you performed in music venues as well, or clubs? Or
I performed in a music venue as well.
did you find that there was a different reaction
Not really. Not really. It was the same sort of reaction, to be honest. Yeah, it was the same.
Yeah.
Didn't really change it. It changes it for me a little bit because the sound's a bit different.
Yeah.
But no, didn't really.
Cool. Thank you. Was there anything else that anybody would like to add or ask? Is there anything you'd like to say?
Back to the autobiographical aspect of this. When I said it was ostensibly autobiographical, because I couldn't tell whether this was dead straight or partly fictionalised or a composite or whatever. Taking you at face value that it's totally autobiographical, what concessions or discretion do you apply to the facts of the past and there's other people involved in telling the story? To what extent do you respect, if that's the word, the fact that you're talking about other people? Do you feel obliged to change or...?
No.
No, it's interesting.
Not at all.
So that begs the question, other people must have recognised themselves in this.
Well, I haven't. The only person that's seen it that's in the story is my brother. I wouldn't invite any of those people to see it.
I guess not, but...
No. I wouldn't want them to see it
Mm.
because they'd probably be quite offended.
Mm.
And I don't ask their permission, but personally I don't think I need to ask their permission because if I cared about those people enough, maybe I'd... But I don't know, to me it's just not part of what I'm doing.
Mm.
So I have to ask them the story. It's my story.
Mm.
I guess the only person that, if my brother had said, I don't want you to do this, then I wouldn't have done it.
Mm.
But everyone else is kind of like, well, to hell with it. I don't really, you know.
And maybe that explains, because that authenticity is what really came across. It was real.
Yeah.
And so like that, so my answering the emotional question, I was moved, but I was a bit wary because I couldn't be certain whether can you really be saying this about real people, because it must have been fictioned. And so that that was the tension for me, that
Yeah, I know what you mean.
lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
Because most people can't tell the truth, or they don't, or they've been advised not to, or they sanitise it. So it's quite a bold thing that you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what. Sometimes I got a question myself, what am I doing? And I'm kind of used to it now, but along the way, it's like, what am I doing? Because some of the stories are kind of extreme, but I think it's because when I watch TV or theatre or read books, or whatever, I always find everything very sanitised, it's very fake.
Mm.
And if you live a particular life, everything's going to feel very sanitised to you. It's just going to be like, this is fake, this is rubbish, this is bullshit. Yeah, it's good, but because it's not. So you might watch something that everyone says, that's so hard hitting. You're thinking, what, that?
Mm.
That?
Mm.
What are you talking about? But I understand why it would be to some people. But then it's like, well, if I want to see stuff, that's like then I need to be making it.
Mm.
And maybe it's not for everyone, but if I want to be seeing it, then I've got to deal with it how uncomfortable it is. And at first, when someone suggested it to me to do it, I was dead against it. And I thought, fucking hell, I've got to do it. Because otherwise, it's always like, I want things to be real. I want the real fucking stories. I want it to be real. I want it to hurt me. I want to be, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's self-abuse, I'm not sure, but who knows.
Was your first show autobiographical as well? I know you've done another one before this.
You
said you might have done lots before this, but I only know about one.
Yeah, no, the other stuff, they're all, like, no, not really. I mean, some of the characters and stories were actually quite real, but I fictionalised them by using the character.
Yeah.
But the stories were real.
Yeah.
For the parts that I wrote. It's easier to write that way.
So they were real stories, but they weren't presented as real stories?
No.
Yeah.
So no one knew that. They would have believed the whole thing was fiction.
Yeah.
All the other characters were actually fiction, but all the characters I played were always actually me. But you wouldn't know that.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The bar is open if you want a drink. Can I get you a drink?
Coke, maybe I'll take a Coke, yeah.
Okay. Gosh. Cheap date? Well, not date, but you know what I mean.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just say hello as well, Connor, because I've been tweeting you on the radio.
Oh yeah, I recognise you. I recognise you.
I wasn't sure if I was going to make it to the show because I did something else earlier. We're doing a little look, but I really got to see this, especially after seeing like what people had said about the show last night. I'm so glad you did. It was cracking.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you very much for sharing your story. It was amazing, and the music was incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
like the venue. It's like
Yeah, it's a great little venue, isn't it?
Good venue.
Yeah, it's a smashing spot. What do you think of Thanet?
yeah, it's interesting.
It's a really interesting place, yeah. But you still live in South London?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
so it's easy to get down here.
yeah. Nice, yeah, it's interesting. Huh? Peckham. Yeah, that'll be from Peckham, yeah. Balance, yeah.
Tooting!
There's a show starts 7:30.
Yeah, I know, it's an interesting little area. There's a lot going on down here.
Yeah.
You've got the three towns, obviously you're staying in Ramsgate, you've got Margate, you've got Broadstairs as well, and the three towns make up the island now. So, if you're looking for sort of a day out of London, do a lot worse than come down and check out all the different beaches and things.
Yeah, but I was walking around, I won't stay for like 4 hours.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It's very
I saw your
picturesque.
little video of Ramsgate Harbour. I did put you there, that's a nice place to be.
Yeah, it's really cool actually.
Very experiences, so
Like, I'd only heard of Thanet before because of the news.
Oh, of course, yeah, the Nigel Farage and everything.
Yeah. But even now, when I say something from Thanet, they're like, where?
Yeah, people don't know it too.
Yeah. So it's quite cool to be actually say somewhere where like no one knows about.
Yeah, and this it has been getting a lot of attention over lots of different reasons. Because of the Nigel Farage thing, because of the Turner Contemporary and everything else.
Yeah.
And because I don't know what train you came down on. If you're coming from South London, you might have got a train from Victoria. But the train from St Pancras is a fast train.
Oh, yeah.
And that's only been open for 6 years.
Yeah. Oh, is that the one that people have been talking about?
That's the high speed one. Well, the one people have been talking about is high speed 2, which they were talking about doing an investment in to go up north. High speed 1 opened first, and because you can now get between London and Thanet much more quickly than you could before, you've actually sort of driven a lot through the generations of people moving down and just happening, maybe wasn't happening so much before.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
well,
They will do, for sure, they are starting to.
yeah, just pull the plug on it.
Have a think about.
I have to buy a few now.
You've got money, go for it. You could do a lot worse.
It's really cold.
Yeah, you really could do a lot worse. I think Margate was the town in the country where house prices rose percentage-wise the most in last year. But there was such a low base. They've gone up 24% in a year.
Yeah, for mine, yeah. How, no, you can't talk about compromise, but I know that mine, I moved here from London 3 years ago, and I know that the house is worth 50% more than it was 3 years ago.
Already 50%.
Oh my god.
Wow.
But it's a low base.
Very low base. Yeah.
I've got a 7-bedroom house with 4 bathrooms, 320 quid.
That's insane.
It is
Absolutely
madness.
insane.
It is madness.
I wish I had money.
And now it's more than half a million, which is still
Which is still ridiculous. Yeah.
7 bedrooms. Wow.
stupid.
Yeah, seriously, you want to have a look at the property pages around here, it's extraordinary when you get money. We have a 2-bedroom flat, but obviously up in Camden Town, and we've got a big 4-bedroom house down there on the walk to the beach, probably less than half what the price was. Crazy.
I did look at some of the windows and I was thinking,
It's quite
I was
tempting.
like, wow, what the hell?
Yeah, it is crazy.
That's why Hoxton's moved to Clifton,
Yeah, exactly.
because nobody could afford Hoxton.
Are you an actor or a woman? Your voice.
My radio voice.
Are you ready? Oh yeah.
No, but it's very good.
Like,
Sang a bit of opera tonight as well.
He did sing a bit of opera tonight, yeah, you missed that. That's where we've just come from.
I used to do that. I used to do DJ for a while. Radio DJ.
yeah, because your voice is so distinctive.
My BBC Radio Mid-Atlantic voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you.
That's true. I used to, well, you know what? There is a skeleton from the past. I used to be on BBC Radio London
Yeah,
when it was Radio London.
right.
Not even BBC Radio London. And at 10 o'clock on a Friday night, there was a switch in the studio and it said Radio 2. Because it didn't broadcast through the night. It used to go clunk, switch to Radio 2. It's big news.
See, now you're saying that, I'm hearing that voice.
I
Never going to hear anything else
did
now.
2 franchise bids as well.
Really?
Yeah, so back when they did the license bids in the mid-90s, I had 2 station bids in for that, but didn't get either of them, so doing it for that. Yeah, but then I did a lot of TV voiceovers as well.
Yeah, I can hear that. Yeah, yeah.